Steve Jobs, unbelievable, man. Reading about it, talking about it. CNN, their whole newscast is devoted to it. Fox, I got to be honest with you, Fox National, they're not devoting enough time, okay? I know they're pandering to their audiences, but Steve Jobs deserves more time on all the channels today. Hey, you know, I know something? This guy's an entrepreneur. He's a visionary. He's the king of entrepreneurs. I'm one of his foot soldiers. Without him, we wouldn't be talking right now. But let's slow the roll down. People saying he may be the greatest inventor of all time. I'm going to name the greatest inventors of all time, and you follow along with me. Thomas Edison invented the electric light, like in the early 1902, 1903, number one. Alexander Graham Bell, remember the rotary dial, the push button, the phone that you could talk to across everywhere? That's him. That's number two. Also, number three, Robert Adler. How about this? You know what I'm doing? Changing the channel. I don't have to get up. Everybody's got a remote control. Number four, the next time we have to go somewhere and we have to fly across the country, say to yourself, I think Steve Jobs was smarter than the Wright brothers who got something to fly off the ground in 1903. It's not the invention, it's when they were invented. Now, Steve Jobs, I got him as number 5 all time. All time, okay? That's one of the best. I mean, this guy's a visionary and he will not be replaced. Now, that being said, let's talk about, we talked about the positives, he's fantastic. Let's talk about the negatives. Since he's come around, the United States has dropped from number 1 in science and math to number 17. You know why? Because Steve Jobs, one of us, an entrepreneur and a baby boomer, said, our kids ain't that bright apparently. Let's give them something they can touch. In the meantime, we went from number 1 to number 3, and it's not just his fault. It's the schools and everything else. But when a kid can get an answer instantly, and he doesn't know how to talk to you, there's kids that can't do interviews. There's kids that, how about the woman that fell into the pond or into the fountain at the mall and then sues the mall because she's looking at Steve Jobs? He did wonderful things, but he dummied down this young generation. That is a fact, okay? I'm just telling you the truth. Now, we'll be back in 15 seconds, but enjoy our thing on Rosemont. I'm Mike North for the Village of Rosemont. From the 9th largest convention center to restaurants to theaters, sports venues, and hotels. 5 minutes from O'Hare, you got it all here. Rosemont, you can't miss it. Back to Steve Jobs, though. No matter if you loved him, you couldn't hate him. If you disliked him, you were just jealous. I mean, I don't have the stuff that he had, okay? But I do know this. Some of his stuff slows people down in business. But some of his stuff excels people in business. Nothing's perfect, but what this guy did to have everything on one thing, he can thank the computer. He took the computer, the phone, okay, and the light and combined all those inventions and put them into one. That's why the guy's unbelievable. And in this little hand, today they showed a live shot that we're doing now with an iApp, just showing it like this, and it was beaming back to your TV. This is what this guy did. This is what makes him what he is. But at the end of the day, he said, you know, you die and you get pushed out of the way. But why push him out of the way at 56? Because he did his job. He did more in 56 years than a person could do in 3 lifetimes. That's how great he was. And I'm talking to you today because of a lot of the innovations that he made. Steve Jobs, gone at 56, gone, but he will never be forgotten. And I'm not really a tech guy, but he impresses the living daylights out of everybody. I don't know if Eric Holder really surprises or admires or does anything that people are going to admire, but Cheryl Atkinson of CBS says Fast and Furious is shady. Eric Holder was involved. And what does the White House do? They make the mistake of their life. They have 2 people, and Eric Schultz, yell at her over the phone. They have a female, tell her she put the administration in a bad spot. Here's what I'm going to tell everybody. They just messed with CBS. They didn't mess with Bravo. They didn't mess with CNN. They didn't mess with Fox. You messed with the Main Street media and you yelled at a competent CBS reporter. Eric Holder will be out of a job in 3 months, and if he isn't replaced, he will go to jail. This is the guy who said he did not read the Arizona immigration bill, but it was wrong. Hey, Eric Holder, does the word incompetent mean anything to you? Your incompetence is either going to make you lose your job or you perjured yourself and you'll go, and you should go to jail. By the way, Madonna is going to be going to the Super Bowl. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the last thing you got. Don't go to the Super Bowl. Don't bring lords. Don't have the people in the pom-poms. You are Madonna. Ask the Who. Ask the Stones. ask Springsteen, ask Timberlake, ask Janet Jackson. Has anything ever come good from doing the halftime show? Chicago Blackhawks predicted to win the Stanley Cup from Barry Melrose at ESPN. Says they're angry and hungry. Well, last year they weren't angry and hungry. Terry Francona going to work for Fox during the playoffs. Tiger Woods playing in a tournament he would have never played in. Is he going to finish in the top 10? We'll find out. The NBA players, let me tell you something, folks. The NBA players, 79% in the Chicago Tribune said they won't miss it. Yeah, and they won't miss it until the Super Bowl after February. The players will come back slowly. The owners are going to break them. The weather today, beautiful here in Chicago. Check your local listings. You've been listening to 560 WIND, the Mike North 30 and 5. Flood Brothers Disposal and Recycling Services are professional waste haulers. Now, the Flood family is big on service. It's our #1 priority, and we offer extremely competitive pricing because the Flood family is here to help you in this tough economy. Remember, at Flood Brothers, we build relationships, and the only thing we're big on is service. Call us at 773-626-5800 or floodbrothersdisposal.com.